Good day everyone, it's Calxiyn here, and if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe and go ahead and follow me over on social media because that is where I posted about this whole thing first. And oh boy, oh howdy, do I have thoughts about this. Anyway, the RWBY deck building game, if you guys don't know, came out sometime last year. I can't remember exactly when. I know that we were planning to make a video on it. I don't remember if we uploaded it, but you guys can look it up. Basically, it is how it sounds. It was a deck building game, and it's shutting down. So that's the tea. It is shutting down. The game is shutting down. It has been out for a little over a year, and they are basically like turning off the servers because it's like a multiplayer situation and all that stuff. The Discord server for the game is going down. Like, it's basically dead, okay? But here's the thing. So I was reading this post, and listen, I don't want to bully Rooster Teeth, okay? But I have some thoughts about this because this is getting a little ridiculous, and I just sort of want to give my opinion, okay? So let me read out the post. It's been a little over a year since we launched the game, and while we've enjoyed partnering with the developer 80 Arcade and seeing the positive fan response, we're simply not getting enough energy in the game to justify its continuation, so we've decided to shutter the game. And so that is what they said. And they also basically said, like, hey, if you have gripes or, like, questions or concerns, like, post them in the thing. And they also said that we will continue to find new opportunities to create more video games in the RWBYverse. In fact, we have some very exciting news to share in the coming months. Stay tuned. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. I am starting to get really tired of this garbage, okay? Listen, I don't wanna call it garbage. But we have Grim Eclipse, RWBY Crystal Match, or Quest, I don't remember what they renamed it to, and this game, okay? The only game that has some sort of, like, long-term popularity, the only people that have known what they are doing is RWBY Amity Arena, okay? And what's getting frustrating to me is that they keep putting out these games. Take RWBY Crystal Match, for example. Like, they tried to get a bunch of YouTubers to sort of, like, promote it, right? So they go to the YouTubers and they're like, hey, do a video on our game, please. And it's starting to get to the point where I feel like that we are being used for money, basically. You know what I mean? Because, like, they come to us like, hey, like, do a video on this game. And, like, sometimes they'll, like, give us, like, stuff in the game or something like that. But nobody's getting paid. Nobody's getting the big bucks for doing this. But they're basically introducing these games, say RWBY Crystal Match, taking the money that people have spent on it and then never updating the game again. Like, they're not updating their Twitter page. I don't know this, like, the status of the game, if it's been doing, like, events or whatever, but that's how I feel about RWBY Crystal Match. And, like, this game, it's a whole other scenario, but that's what I'm saying. Like, every once in a while, there's a new RWBY game, they come to the YouTubers and they're like, hey, can you do a video on it so we can get some promotion, so we can take all your money and then shut the game down a couple months later? Like, they're basically trying to make a quick buck off of RWBY. And so I'm like, why doesn't Rooster Teeth work with literally anyone else? Literally any other developer. Like, these developers, that seems the only thing that they are in it for. Like, the only team that has a good social media presence, good, a good, update sort of, regularity, right? Like, does in-game events is Amity Arena, and that's the only one that has survived. But we know, I did a video on how Grim Eclipse is dying and why. I did a video on that. This game was unplayable, okay? So I'm like, the positive fan response from the community, like, bitch, where? Okay, and I know that he just probably said that, like, he just wrote that in his post. There was not. This game was dead on arrival. I'm so surprised that it has stayed so long, and I'm sure some people have played it, but the problem with Rooster Teeth is they make these games, like, in this case, the deck building game is the worst one, okay? They need to make games which are a little more accessible to the ordinary person who may not necessarily be a gamer. You know what I mean? Who's interested in RWBY, but isn't necessarily, like, you know, big on video games, right? Because obviously, you guys can see, I like JRPGs, I have a PlayStation, I have a Switch, all that stuff, and not everyone is sort of hardcore, like, gamer. The deck building game, okay? I tried to do a video on it. It was the weirdest fucking shit I have ever played. So unclear, like, instructions unclear, no idea what I was doing. I didn't understand it at all, and I was like, okay, well, I don't play deck builders. So I got Hunter here, and Hunter couldn't figure it out either because it was a wonky mess. Unclear, wonky mess. And so for the people that figured it out, like, good for you. But for the general population, I'm not surprised that the game died because it was terrible. So I have some tweets here. Okay, so this person is saying that my RWBY group is also my usual deck builder group. So he has like a group of friends and they all build decks for other games, okay? He's saying the RWBY deck builder didn't have a strong core, the win condition wasn't straightforward, and the card effects were all over the place. And then they said games like Dominion and Star Realms work because they use simple mechanics and then piece them together. I don't know anything about those games. But even the people that play the deck building games were still fucking confused. So it's clearly not like, oh, like, you're too dumb to get this game. Like, it's not even that. It's that the people that play these games on the regular are like, yeah, this is a fucking mess. Like, this is terrible. Someone else also said, yeah, RWBY Deck Builder was one of the most bizarre, unplayable user interfaces I've ever seen in a video game. I legit couldn't tell if my issues with the game were because I was doing something wrong or because the game was buggy. That's exactly how I felt. Like, it was terrible, terrible experience. And like, I'm just not surprised. And there aren't very many, like, comments on this post. I don't know if anyone has sent anything to the email, but it's like, positive fan response. Like, I don't know how many people were in that Discord server. Maybe it was good. It's definitely not as positive as Amity Arena if the game did badly. And I can't think of any positive response because most of the YouTubers who tried to do videos on it could not understand it, could not play it. Like, it was awful. It was awful. So, like, why are you lying to us? Clearly, like, this wasn't the most positive experience, right? That's my problem with Rooster Teeth, like, games in general, okay? They made Grimmaclips, sort of. Like, a fan made Grimmaclips, they sort of hired the fan, and then they just put it out there. And now they've left Grimmaclips to die. Like, it's not getting any updates, it's not getting anything, okay? Then they made Amity Arena, and I think Amity Arena is a great game. Like, balancing-wise, maybe some of you guys have to argue with that, but in terms of, like, how it's kept up with the community, how it's constantly updated, how they've added new cards and stuff, Amity Arena I've had a lot of fun with, okay? So I think Amity Arena is, like, up here. Then RWBY Crystal Match. That felt the most money-grabbing to me, because I think they kept either Neo or Pyrrha behind some sort of paywall. Like, you could pay $8 and, like, unlock both of them or something. And then they just fucking disappeared. Where are they? I don't know. I don't think their Twitter has been active for like 2 months, right? So they just took our money and then they ran away. That's how it feels. And like, again, these companies, right? I think for Crystal Match, people approached some YouTubers. And I think for Deck Building, they also approached some YouTubers. Like, people approach us to be like, hey, like, promote the game. And then we're like, okay, sure, right? And then the company disappears. And I'm just like, why do we keep promoting these games when they're fucking over the fan base? That's how it feels, because people are investing money into something. And, like, whether you think people should spend money on mobile games, like, that's a whole other thing. People, like, invest the money, you know, like, based on our promotion, and then the game disappears. And we don't know that the game's gonna disappear. Like, I really liked RWBY Crystal Match, but where the fuck are they? Where the fuck are they on Twitter? Like, I don't know. It just seems like they tried for a couple months, and then they gave up. Like, I'm pretty sure the game still exists, and it's still on the App Store, but I don't know what they're doing. Like, you don't hear a peep from them. You don't hear, like, are they doing an Easter event? Did they do a Valentine's Day event? Like, no, Amity Arena is. So that's just the tea on that. But yeah, that's what really bothers me about all these games. And so it's like, oh, you know, we're gonna get new announcements, like create new opportunities for video games at Rooster Teeth. We'll have exciting news to share in the coming months. Like, okay, if you say so, if it's exciting, right? But like, Rooster Teeth Games has had a rough sort of time. You know, Vicious Circle failed. Not surprised, okay? They could update Grimmaclips. Like, if they could get people to work on it, they could do, like, Team Coffee, and they could do Team Sun, and people would buy it and spend their money. But Grimmaclips is another useless thing to spend money on. Like, minimum, it's a 2-hour experience, okay? If you want to put more time into it, maybe it'll last a little longer. I never want to see RWBY Grimmaclips again. That's my opinion, okay? We used to do, like, Grimmaclips, like, gameplay before we were, like, comfortable showing our faces on camera and whatever, before we got, like, new cameras and stuff. Like, we used to do gameplay that we would basically talk about a theory and then put the game over it. Like, I probably have, like, well over 200 hours in Grimmaclips, and that is enough. Like, no one should have that many hours in this goddamn game. Anyway, I thought Grimmaclips was okay for what it was, but all these other games are trash. Sorry. That's just my opinion. They are trash. They are and at worst they are unplayable. At best, you have, like, Amity Arena is the exception, not the rule. All the other RWBY games have either just been bad or they've disappeared. Or they've been ignored. And I feel like the deck builder situation is a mixture. So yeah, that is my rant on Rooster Teeth games. Obviously, I am planning to play a much better video game today. As you guys can see, I sort of have the curly hair Joker, femme Joker vibes going on, if that makes sense. But yeah, What a fucking mess, dude. Like, what a mess. I can't believe they said that. Like, it's positive fan response. Like, where, sis? None of us could even fucking play it. None of us could figure it out. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just hoping that in the future, Rooster Teeth will get some good RWBY games. Because, like, they know what we want. Like, they know, right? But here we are, right? Oh, I forgot about, oh god, the Arc Systems. I forgot about BlazBlue. I should have talked about that. Like, that is an example of handing your IP to someone else and having them do all the work. That is great. Like, BlazBlue, I'm not really a fighting game person, but BlazBlue, that was great. That was great. Do something like that. Just give your game to someone else that's actually reputable, by the way. Like, stop with these random, like, 80 arcade, like, who knows who those people are, right? Try to, like, I don't know, maybe somewhere else. Maybe someone else would be better at it. I'm just saying. I don't know. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Big yikes from me all around. Why? Why does this keep happening to them? We know why. Like, we just talked about why. So there's your answer. I don't really know where I was going with this outro, but it's fine, and I will see you guys later. I hope that you guys enjoyed my little rant. I needed to get that out of my system. I've been thinking about it since I saw that announcement, and I was just like, really? Like, this is getting to be a little bit bullshit. You know what I'm saying?